So in the last class we were talking about the transfer of heat, and the transfer of heat is transfer of heat. It is performed by three means. One is the conduction, and this conduction this is the means of heat transfer in the solids in general, and this is due to this is due to vibration of atoms. So actually each and every heat transfer phenomena, this is that atomic and molecular level phenomena. So so this in this condition, in this case, in case of conduction, that heat transfer is due to the vibration of motion. And the second one is the convection. So this is performed due to translation or rotational motion of atoms. So the atom is transferred from that heating region to that region where the temperature is lower than the lower first region. So from higher temperature to lower temperature, atom transfer either due to translation motion or just a rotational motion. And the third one is radiation, and this is there is no need of medium between for the heat transfer. So this is the heat transfer through vacuum, in general in form of electromagnetic radiation. So we can give different examples in each cases. So if we have one rod and you're giving heat energy to the one end of rod, so the second you can get that heat from the second end, and that will be because of this conduction process. Water or gas can transfer that heat by using this convection method, and that boiling of water, you can observe that phenomena during that boiling of water where that bubble rises. So this is the convection method where that atoms transfer from one place to another place, from higher temperature region to lower temperature region. And the radiation, in this case that sun, you can give the example that sun gives that energy, heat energy, and we are getting that energy, and that heat energy is passing through a big region which is actually vacuum. So this is that electromagnetic radiation, and we are getting one good electromagnetic radiation, and we have a band of electromagnetic waves. And in general, that the second term, that is known as that thermal radiation. One more term is used, that is thermal radiation. So here that electromagnetic radiation, we have a big band of electromagnetic radiation from 0.1 angstrom to up to that gamma rays. So that thermal radiation, we get that thermal energy, and this is in general from 1 micrometer to 100 micrometer wavelength, and this is just beyond the visible range. Do you know that visible range of wavelength? Visible range of wavelength, this is from 4000 angstrom to 7800. So this 1 micrometer to 100 micrometer, this is generally that the thermal radiation is in this range, and beyond that visible range, this is known as IR, infrared, IR, or far IR range. So thermal radiation is generally in this range, IR, infrared range. IR stands for infrared. So this infrared range. So if we have that spectrum, a spectrum of different wavelength, then in between there will be visible range, and beyond that visible range we will have the higher wavelength region, and that higher wavelength region, that is in between 1 micrometer to 100 micrometer, then this thermal radiation perform in this range, which is actually that IR or far IR range. Okay, so if heat energy is given to any material, any matter, any substance, if heat energy or heat transfer, heat energy is given to any matter, means if this is that heat energy and it is given to any substance, then the energy may be used in three forms. Maybe first, some energy may be reflect. There is a substance, we are just giving heat energy, so some energy may be reflect, some energy may be absorbed, some energy that material can absorb, and the third, some energy can be that reflect, transmit. So it can absorb some energy can be reflected from the surface, some energy can be absorbed by the substance, and some energy can be transmitted. This is transmitted part. Okay. So this is transmit, and this is reflected, and some energy it is absorbed by, this is absorbed. So that heat energy given to that material, that can be used by that material by using these three phenomena. Some energy that matter can reflect, some energy that matter can absorb, depending on the nature of material. So the total energy, let's say this is Q, it is equivalent to that reflected, it is that reflected energy, it is R is the total reflected energy, plus absorbed, this total absorbed energy is A. So reflected energy is R, absorbed energy is A, and transmitted total energy, let us represent this by T, and plus T, this is the transmitted one. So the total energy is used in these three forms, depending on the nature of material. Some matter may reflect more energy, absorbed less energy, and transmit less energy. Some materials absorbed much more heat energy and reflect and transmit less energy, and some can transmit all of the energy or maximum amount of energy, and its absorption as well as that reflection property is less. Okay, so it depends on matter to matter. So this can be written as equivalent to, this is can be equal to R by Q plus A by Q plus T by Q. It is equivalent to 1. This is one relation in which this R by Q is known as reflectance. Reflectance means total amount of energy given, out of total amount of energy given, R amount of energy is reflected, then this ratio is known as reflectance, and this is absorbance, or some other name is given, absorptance. So again, this is A by Q is absorptance, and this is transmittance. So the ratio of that reflected energy with the given energy, this is reflectance. The ratio of absorbed energy with this given energy, total heat energy, this is absorptance, and the transmittance is the ratio of total transmitted energy with that total given energy. So these are the sum of these three, this is equivalent to 1. Okay, so this is one relation. Okay, now, so if we have different types of matter which can either absorb, transmit, or reflect that energy, we have the concept of black body. So the black body is that substance, material, substance or matter which can absorb almost all of the given energy. So in this case, the reflectance as well as this absorption, reflectance as well as this transmittance, this is, if this is equivalent to 0, this is equivalent to 0, then this A by Q, 100% of that total energy is absorbed by that system, then that is known as a black body. That substance of matter which can absorb all of the given energy is known as black body. So that generally that black color absorbs more energy. The black term is used here, that black body, it is absorbing almost all of the energy. In summer season, generally it is suggested that you should use light colored cloths, because the reflectance of that light color is more, and if you are using that dark color or black color cloths, then that will absorb more energy. Its absorbance is more. Okay, so here that black color is using here, because that black, it absorbs more energy. So black body, it absorbs 100% of that energy. Its reflectance as well as that transmittance, it is negligible. So generally in practice, no substance having that properties of that black body. It is artificially, it can be artificially fabricated like this. If we have one system and there is one hole created, and this is that that is the cavity. If any radiation enter in this cavity and it's reflect like this, and it is not coming out from this cavity. So this is that just reflecting from inside that surface of this cavity, and it is not coming out from this cavity, that one can consider this as a black body, because it is absorbing 100% of that total energy. Otherwise, the sum of this is true for maximum numbers of substances. So in the real world, there is no ideal black body, but that black body can be represented like this. This is just a cavity. When heat energy is entered in this by using this path, by using this side, and it is reflected inside the surface of this cavity. This is the black body. And if any substance, it absorbs energy, that will radiate energy. So one term is used, that is the black body radiation. It is absorbing 100% of energy, so obviously that will radiate energy. So that is known as black body radiation. And the radiation, that thermal radiation especially, this depends on wavelength, just to discuss. And we have one good plot depending on the different temperature as well as the wavelength, and that is known as and different rules and regulations are given for that black body radiation. So let us have that plot for that black body radiation. This is black body radiation. So black body is that body which is absorbing that energy, and if that body is absorbing energy, that will emit that thermal energy, and that thermal energy, the emission of that thermal energy, it varies with temperature as well as wavelength. So we will have one plot. This is E lambda. This E lambda is energy emitted. This E lambda, it is energy, general thermal energy emitted per unit area in unit time. So this is E lambda is that thermal energy emitted per unit area, and that in unit wavelength. And this x-axis, this is wavelength lambda. Okay, so at a different temperature, this plot is like this. As wavelength decreases, that thermal energy, that emission of thermal energy, it is increasing. So this is that the increasing value, and it gives a peak value and then it started decreasing. And generally this region is IR region, IR and far IR region, and then this is that visible region. This is visible. So generally I have mentioned that thermal radiation is beyond this visible region. So as wavelength decreases at a particular temperature, that E lambda, it increases up to a certain wavelength. This is the peak wavelength. This is for the temperature T1. And if we take some higher wavelength, then we will have another one, and this peak, it is shifted towards that like this. So this peak, the position of peak, it shifted from this is T1, this is T2, this is T3, this is T4. So if this T4 is greater than T3, it is greater than T2, it is greater than T1. So for increasing temperature, we have different plots, and the difference is the phenomena is similar. What is that similarity? As wavelength increases, that E lambda, wavelength decreases, the E lambda increases. Means that heat energy emitted per unit area, per unit wavelength, it is increasing up to a particular value. This is that particular maximum value. So this value, this is represented as lambda m. So this is lambda m, this is lambda m, this is lambda m. So what we are observing here, this lambda m, this is increasing with temperature. Here this is highest temperature, higher temperature, this is the lower one, and lowest temperature is T1. So T4 is greater than T3, it is greater than T2, and this is greater than T1. So this is in the decreasing order. So as temperature increases, this lambda m, the value of lambda m, this is changing. It is shifting towards lower wavelength. This is the lower wavelength, this is the higher wavelength. So you can write some sentences for this. So this multiplication of this lambda m multiplied by its T, it is taken as a constant. This is taken as a constant. And this is known as Wien's law. This is known as Wien's law. So for a black body radiation, this lambda m, which is the peak value of a particular this in this curve, and this depends on temperature, the multiplication of these two, this is a constant, and this is known as Wien's law. Second, another law is also used here, that is, okay, just first complete this. Okay, so all these are in the IR region. In the visible region, that thermal radiation is minimum. It is just very, very negligible values. And what we are observing, as temperature increases, that with wavelength, this E lambda, it is this wavelength is decreasing, this E lambda is increasing up to a particular value of wavelength. This is that peak value, lambda m. And this lambda m, this depends on temperature. As temperature increases, it shifted towards this lower wavelength. And the multiplication of this with temperature, this is a constant which is known as Wien's law. Okay, second, that the heat rate, that is H, which is actually Q by T. We have used this term earlier, that heat absorbed, heat emitted per unit time. This is heat emitted in unit time. This depends on temperature. So this is actually equal to that area A multiplied by T to the power 4 multiplied with one constant sigma. Is the area. It depends on area as well as temperature. Temperature in the power of 4. And this is known as Stephen's Boltzmann law. Stephen's Boltzmann law, I think so, yes. Yeah, Stephen's Boltzmann. Stephen, F-A-N, Stephen Boltzmann's law. I should write. Let's see. Boltzmann-Stephen's law, Stephen's-Boltzmann law. So this is given by Stephen and Boltzmann. That's why this is Stephen's-Boltzmann law. Means here that heat energy emitted per unit time, H. Q, that is heat energy emitted. Or here this is that E lambda, it is energy emitted per unit area, per unit wavelength. Okay, so that heat energy emitted per unit time, this depends on area of that substance. More area, more heat energy will be per unit time will be emitted, as well as this depends on temperature, T raised to the power 4. This is Boltzmann-Stephen's law. And because of all these relation, now we are able to measure the temperature of stars. कोई ऐसा नहीं कि कोई जाकर के थर्मामीटर लगा कर किसी स्टार्स का टेम्परेचर मेजर किया होगा. वहाँ से जो लाइट आता है, हाँ, वहाँ से जो हमें एनर्जी मिल रहा है, उस लाइट एनर्जी के बेसिस पर हम टेम्परेचर मेजर करते हैं. वेवलेंथ के बेसिस पर हम टेम्परेचर मेजर करते हैं. ओके, so this is that and there are some more, but you have to write this Wien's law. This depends on lambda and temperature, is a good one. And second one is this Boltzmann-Stephen's law. And you can get this T1, T2, T3 just randomly you can write, and you can use this. Otherwise you can use the real values also, 998 Kelvin and like that. So just use this. Okay, so this is black body radiation, and now this sigma Boltzmann constant है क्या? This sigma is known as Stephen's constant. Where sigma is known as Stephen's constant. Yeah, Stephen's Boltzmann constant you can write. Now one term which is very familiar nowadays, this is greenhouse effect. Our earth getting warmer day by day, 0.3 degrees centigrade to 0.6 degrees centigrade per year, and that is because of this greenhouse effect. And what is that greenhouse effect? This is that the surface of our earth, and we are getting radiation from sun, from its photosphere. From the photosphere of sun we are getting energy, heat energy from the sun, and some amount of this energy, it is absorbed by the surface of earth, and most of the energy, it is reflected by surface of this earth. But what is happening, because in this atmosphere we have some gas molecules like carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, methane, and one gas which is emitted through our refrigerator or AC, and that is carbon fluoro. What is that? What is the chlorofluorocarbon? Chlorofluorocarbon. CFXCl2. It is emitted through our AC systems, AC used in car and our refrigerator, and this is, and so some the reflected energy which is from our earth surface, it is absorbed by this, and we have dense atmospheric system, so some of the energy, it is reflected from that ionosphere also. So this energy, we are getting energy from the sun, and energy reflected through our earth, it is absorbed by these gas molecules, as well as it's reflected back by that ionosphere. So ultimately that that energy, if it is reflected by our earth, it is in between that our atmosphere. So our atmosphere is getting warm, and because of that warm atmosphere, our earth is increasing temperature. The temperature of our earth is increasing, and this effect, the reflection of this energy, this effect is known as greenhouse effect. So in the greenhouse effect, you have to write three terms. First, we are getting heat energy from sun, and that heat energy, it is partially absorbed by our earth. There is no transmission because the size of our earth is huge. So partially absorbed by our Earth, and the maximum amount of that energy is reflected by the surface of our Earth. But that reflected energy is not going to back to that sun. But that reflected energy is absorbed by these gas molecules like this, that carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, methane, and due to increasing pollution, we have abundant amount of this gas in our atmosphere. It is in increasing, and this is because of our AC system. So that reflected energy, it is absorbed by these molecules, or it is reflected back from the ionosphere of our atmosphere. So ultimately, that reflected energy from this our Earth, it is in nearby our Earth, and that's why our atmosphere is getting warm, and this is known as greenhouse effect. So in order to save our Earth to be more warm, or increasing temperature, we have to reduce this carbon dioxide and this N2O and this chlorofluoro, this gas molecules emitting through that our AC. So this greenhouse effect, this is good one as well as a dangerous one nowadays. Okay. Then next one is the last topic of this unit, that is Newton's law of cooling. So you have just write one short notes on this. What is greenhouse effect? What is its effect on the Earth? And you should remember the name of gas molecules due to which this greenhouse effect is taking place. So Newton's law of cooling. T1 minus T2. So T1 is that temperature of that substance, and T2 is that temperature of that its surrounding. So if we have one object here, its temperature is T1, and this is that surrounding whose temperature is T2, then this dq by dt, this depends on the temperature difference. So we will have one constant here, this is dq by dt, this is equal to one constant k, T1 minus T2. Okay, so this is that material. So obviously substance will have mass, specific heat, so we can just elaborate this relation by using that specific heat of solids as well as some more terms, that mass, etc. So this dq, that heat loss of substance, can be further written as equal to dq. It is equal to its mass as well as its specific heat, and we have that temperature. If this, when we use this q, then we use that temperature T. Okay, we are using here, this is dq, so obviously we will use that dq, and we have taken that temperature is T1, so we will have this is T1. Okay, so this dq by dt can be written as equivalent to mass, these are constant, and this is T1 by dt, and we can put here. So one will have this minus ms dt1 by dt, it is equal to that constant k T1 minus T2. Okay, so this implies dt1 by T1 minus T2, it is equivalent to, just revert all these things. So this minus the k by ms multiplied by dt. Okay, so this is all these are the constant. K is constant, m mass is constant, specific heat of solid is constant. So we can use another constant here, and in your book in NCERT, all these constants are taken as small, and after that this constant is taken as capital K. So we will have this dt1 by t1 minus t2, it is equivalent to capital K dt with minus. Now integrate this. So by integrating, integration of 1 upon x dx, that is equivalent to log x. So this is 1 upon t1 minus t2. So this will be log of t1 minus t2. It's equivalent to minus kt plus a constant c, which can be further written as an exponential. Do you know about that transformation of logarithm and exponential? So this logarithmic term can be transformed into exponential like this. So this is t1 minus t2, it is equivalent to exponential of minus kt plus c, and this is equivalent to exponential of minus kt plus exponential of plus c. These are the terms, these are the mathematics you should know. So logarithm can be converted into exponential by using this. This is a constant, and log is shifted in the right hand side with this exponential. And this is the general term, and you have used in 8th class mathematics. So this exponential of minus kt plus exponential, this is the constant, and this t1 can be further written as equal to, yeah, this is that multiplication. This is the multiplication, this is another constant. So one can write this constant c prime exponential of minus k. Small t, no? This is the time. Okay, so this t1, it is equivalent to t2 plus exponential of minus kt with a constant, minus kt. So this is the exponential term, and we plot this cooling rate with temperature, then we are getting the curve like this with time, because one exponential term is here. So this is with time, and this is that energy, that T1 minus T2, T1 minus T2. So the rate of cooling, that T1 minus T2, this is exponentially decreasing with time. इसलिए जो बहुत गर्म पानी रहता है ना, वो जल्दी ठंडा होता है. हाँ, अगर बाय द वे अगर कोई कम गर्म तो उसमें ज़्यादा टाइम लगता है ठंडा होने में. तो अगर टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस हमारा वहाँ पर 100 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड है, बॉइलिंग वाटर है, हाँ, एटमॉस्फेयर का टेम्परेचर 25, तो स्टार्टिंग में वो फास्ट कूलिंग होगा. लेकिन जैसे अगर बाय द वे वो अगर कोई 50 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड में वाटर है और इधर तुम्हारा 25 एटमॉस्फेयर टेम्परेचर है, तो डिक्रीजिंग रेट जो है वो स्लो होगा. मीन्स टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस अगर कोई ज़्यादा हो तो ऑब्वियसली कूलिंग रेट जो है, इवन बॉडी टेम्परेचर और एटमॉस्फेरिक टेम्परेचर के बीच के गैप से हमें ठंडी या गर्मी लगती है. हमारा बॉडी का टेम्परेचर अगर कोई बहुत ज़्यादा है और एटमॉस्फेरिक टेम्परेचर अगर कम है तो हमें ठंड ज़्यादा लगेगी. अगर हमारा बॉडी टेम्परेचर अगर कोई नॉर्मल उसके साथ अगर कोई मैच होता है तो हमें ठंड कम लगेगी, है ना. इसलिए कहा जाता है कि गर्मी के दिन में कोल्ड ड्रिंक पीना चाहिए. नो, गर्मी के दिन में आप चाय पीजिए, आपको गर्मी नहीं लगेगी, बिकॉज ऑफ दिस लॉ ऑफ कूलिंग. कोल्ड ड्रिंक जो है तुम्हारे बॉडी के टेम्परेचर को डिक्रीज करता है. अगर बॉडी के टेम्परेचर को अगर कोई चीज़ डिक्रीज कर रहा है, कोल्ड कर रहा है, आइसक्रीम खा रहे हैं, कर रहे हैं, और बाहर का जो टेम्परेचर है ना, बाहर का टेम्परेचर अगर ज़्यादा है तो दैट टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस इज मोर. ज़्यादा टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस होगा तो उसका इफेक्ट बॉडी पे पड़ेगा. ठंड के दिनों में लोग जो है वो अपने आप को गर्म करने की कोशिश करते हैं. हाँ, हाँ, तो उस केस में जो है वो फिर ज़्यादा ठंडी लगती है. तुम गर्म पानी में नहा करके बाहर निकलो, हाँ, तुम ठंडे पानी में नहा कर बाहर निकलोगे, ठंड कम लगेगी क्योंकि बाहर का टेम्परेचर ये है. लेकिन गर्म पानी में नहा करके अगर तुम बाहर निकलो तुमको ठंड ज़्यादा लगेगी, बिकॉज ऑफ दैट टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस. दिस इज न्यूटन्स लॉ ऑफ कूलिंग. सो इन आवर डेली लाइफ, in every point that physics is concerned, this temperature. And a simple experiment is there to perform verify this Newton's law of cooling. And obviously one thermometer will be there, and second thermometer, though you have to use two thermometers, one to measure that temperature T1, second one is to measure that T2, and here that T2 is that surrounding temperatures, and T1 that तो एक पॉट में दैट इन जनरली दैट कैलोरीमीटर पे, एक कैलोरीमीटर पे वार्म वाटर ले लिए, बॉइलिंग वाटर ले लिए, या फिर 70-80 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड का वाटर ले लिए, उसमें एक थर्मामीटर लगा दिए, बाहर एक चैम्बर पे सराउंडिंग टेम्परेचर मेजर करने के लिए T2 लगा दिए. टाइम के साथ में हम मेजर करते चले जा रहे हैं. ये प्लाट हमारे पास, अगर कोई ये प्लाट आ गया है ना, जस्ट दैट न्यूटन्स लॉ इज वेरी like simple diagram is there. So this is a very good experiment generally performed in graduation level classes, that Newton's law of cooling. Okay, so I think this unit is over, and I have missed one chapter in between that is related to mechanical properties of materials also. Okay, thank you all.